Are you, or do you wish your family were better Muslims? Do you get upset that they're not reaching their Islamic potential? Or do you feel like they're wasting their time, or wasting this Ramadan doing non-religious or non-halal pursuits? Do you worry, or does worrying about their distance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the way that you perceive it, does that worry bring you closer to Him? In that worrying, in that trying to make sense of what it is that they're doing, what it is that they should be doing, why it is that they're not praying, why it is that they're not doing the extra nawafil, why it is that they're not reading their Qur'ans with that fervour and that genuine just wanting to cram in as much ibadah as you can in this beautiful month. Do you get really cheesed off that your husband's not leading the prayers that you know in the way that you want him to, that your children aren't making the most of this beautiful month in your eyes? Do you get really, really cheesed off, irritated, disappointed with others because they're not making the most of this month? If that's you, I'd like to ask you, why? What is it that is upsetting you? What is it that you are thinking about when you are disappointed, when you are overwhelmed, when you are really cheesed off that people just aren't Ramadaning the way that you think that they should, specifically your family, specifically the children, your husband, your partner, your siblings, your parents even, the people within your home? Do you get really upset with them? And like I asked you, why? Why do you think that is? Because in the moments that you are feeling all of those feels, believing that, you know, it's because others just aren't doing it, they're just not making the most, whatever it is that you think that there's, you know, that's going on for them. But in that moment, you worrying about their perceived distance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala isn't bringing you any closer to Him. It's not like the worry about other people, or the upset, or the frustration, or the if only they were closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if only they were doing more for themselves in Ramadan, if only they were reading more Quran, doing the extra prayers, instead of every time I walk past them, they're either on their phones or schlomping, sleeping, and not doing the ibadah. But in the moments that you can see that they're not, pause. What are you doing? What's going on for you? Because usually when we get upset, irritated, disappointed, or generally just feeling a bit pants, it's a real indication that the lack of understanding, the lack of mercy, the lack of compassion that we have for others, and instead when we've got that resentment, that cheesed offness, it really shows how we are thinking about ourselves. When we are upset by others, when we are so embroiled in the story that if only they were doing more, if only they were fulfilling their potential, whatever that means, in that moment you've got, or we've got, a real thought storm brewing, because in that moment you're no closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that moment. And in that moment, the saying that, have you ever heard the saying, hurt people hurt people? Well, peaceful people don't go around doing unpeaceful things. And in the moments that you are upset, hurt, cheesed off with the others around you, pause and just pause and have a little think about what's going on for you. Because we are all, when we get to the age of accountability, we're all accountable for what we do. And yes, alhamdulillah, it is beautiful when your children do recite Quran, do the nawafil, when your husband, when your family, when you are in that worshipful state, alhamdulillah, it's beautiful. But We are accountable for what we do. So again, in the moments that you can see everyone else wasting their time, what are you doing if not wasting your time by worrying about them wasting theirs? Because you're certainly not worshipping Allah in that moment, and you're certainly not doing anything worshipful. So in that vein, in these last moments of Ramadan, sitting here thinking that it's the last time this Ramadan that I shall be lighting my little Ramadan lights, because tomorrow evening after Maghrib it will be officially Eid, alhamdulillah. So whilst there are these precious moments of Ramadan, I'm drawn to remark or to remember what Ibn al-Jawzi said. When the racehorse knows that it's nearing the end of the track, it exerts all of its efforts to win the race. Do not allow the racehorse to be more clever than you, for verily deeds are judged by their conclusions. So if you didn't do well in welcoming Ramadan, then perhaps you will do better bidding it farewell. It is there is still time. There is still time. If you are grieving Ramadan, if you feel that, it's been a bit of a washout, there is still time. It's not over yet. It's not gone yet. And subhanAllah, these last moments of Ramadan, it's almost like it's come around so quickly. But the narrations tell us, Ibn al-Jawzi tells us that it's not the way that we begin the month that is important. The true test is how we end it. So that saying, start as you mean to go on, comes to mind. But what if starting's the problem? Are you the type of person that thinks that, I just can't even get going and mess it up? But to that, I answer, have mercy upon yourself. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's in your heart. He knows the struggles that you're going through. But also another thing comes to mind. It's not too late. There is still time. In these last moments, whilst the doors of His mercy are open, the protection from the hellfire in these last 10 nights, forgiveness in the first 10 nights, mercy in the second 10 nights, and now protection from the hellfire, there is a certain level of security and safety within this month that you still have access to. Even if you're a lady and you can't fast or can't pray right now, there are ways in which you can connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pour your heart out to Him. And even if you just repeat this small dua on loop, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fwani. Oh Allah, you are forgiving and love forgiveness, so forgive me. Even if you have that on loop, but when you're doing that, you're not looking at what other people are doing. You're not getting cheesed off with other people. You're not getting cheesed off with yourself, because there is a level of doing what you can with what you've got. And you are only one thought away from taqwa. Just recite, La ilaha illallah. There is only one God, Allah. You're only one thought away from appreciating the blessings of this month, even if you didn't start off in a way that you wanted. But you can end it on a high, on a bang, or with a bang, by being appreciative, by being grateful of the blessings of the time that you have right now, by saying, Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah. Don't think that you've wasted this month. Don't let that stand in the way of the blessings that you are yet to receive. Those blessings and rewards that you can supercharge, super pack in these last moments of Ramadan. Do not grieve what has not yet passed. It's not over until Maghrib tomorrow, wherever you are in the world. If Ramadan, if you started fasting on the Tuesday, for you it might be the next day, but there are still moments, there is still time. So, what is it that you are going to concentrate on these last moments of Ramadan on? By focusing on you. Other people, they're accountable for what they do. Our children, if they're at the age of accountability, our job is to guide them, to support them, to nurture them, to connect with them, to help them find their way of connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when it comes down to it, we cannot fast for them, we cannot pray for them. They They are accountable for that, just like we are accountable for what we do. So what is it that you are going to do? What is it that you are going to, who is it that you are going to be in these last moments of Ramadan? Whatever it is that you're doing, wherever you are in the world, I pray that all of the du'as that you make this evening on this odd-numbered night, on the 29th night of Ramadan, subhanallah, you know, it could possibly be Laylatul Qadr. You don't want to miss out on even the smallest chance of it being Laylatul Qadr tonight. So again, the small du'as, but with the powerful intentions of focusing on you, because only you can do you. No one else can connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you. So I will leave you to make your du'as, to have mercy upon yourself, to have that taqwa, to have that conscious awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and leave you in your gratitude to Him that we still have these moments. Because we don't know if we're going to, you know, we don't know what's around the corner. We don't know what's going to hit. But we've got right now. You can't go back in time and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you can't fast forward and worship Him in the future. You can only worship Him in the present, right now. And there is still time. It is still Ramadan. So I shall leave you to savour, eke out, really supercharge these last moments of Ramadan for you. And also, as always, I pray that you are safe, well, happy and healthy. And inshallah, I'll pop on tomorrow, subhanallah, for day 30 of Saj Ramadan. But for now, take care. Assalamu alaikum.